TOA community, Fit Body Forever, and Fit Body Bootcamp communities. What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Robert Linkul here to talk to you today about the sit to stand, one of my favorite lifts/assessments. And one of the tools that we have, let me bring this up over here, is a chart that showcases our current clients' abilities. Jump over to this guy and right here. This is a great article from Vald is the company, VALD, Vald Health. I don't have any financial connection to them. I've worked with them in the past. Good company. They make very good products. This is a great article that looks at, let me zoom in here for you, that looks at the sit to stand, the test itself, and how to score it out in a couple of different ways. You have a 30-second sit to stand test, and you get as many reps as you can in 30 seconds. Then there's another version where you do 5 reps sit to stand as quickly as you can. That's the one we're going to talk about today because there's new scoring components for an age bracket that we have not had in the past. And then there's a third one that is the functional sit to stand, and that's where you would stand on force plates. And as you sit down and stand up, the force plates would tell you which leg you are pushing harder with and how dynamic, how explosive you are when you come up. And the faster, obviously, that you are able to do that, the more quote unquote powerful you are. And thus you would be a less of a fall risk individual because you are able to move so much more quickly. Now, this is a great test, number one, because we have early detection and preventative measures that are seen in this. If these scores are poor, it does tell us that there's some sarcopenia. Typically connected and married in with sarcopenia is osteopenia or some kind of bone health issue. It's a great assessment for fall risk. So again, low scores are going to be in correlation with you not being very powerful, not very dynamic, and not capable of moving your body quickly, which makes you a very high fall risk. There's a way to personalize your exercise programs and or implement rehabilitation type exercises to help you get stronger and try to improve your performance overall, and enhancing objective measures and empowering individuals by having goal setting, scorekeeping, that kind of thing that will help you overall. Benefits of sit to stand testing really is for everybody, all adults, but specifically older adults / geriatric older adult components here, because we are our greatest concern falls. We want to make sure that our clients' bones and muscle mass are as thick bone as we can and as dense and as much muscle mass as possible on the other end. And so this gives us a very good lower body assessment of that. Again, correlations to these scores give us overall, much like the grip strength test, does give us an overall understanding of an individual's health and activity levels. There are some chronic disease components, some neurological components, and athleticism components, all that are able to be assessed and or developed based on the results here. And then again, it's very simple. Have a chair that's 17 to 18 inches in height, and you don't want any armrests on here, nothing that you're going to push off with. It's got to be able to bear your weight, of course, and you need to be able to sit down and stand up. Performing this with confidence is good. Again, we aren't focused in the beginning on how fast you're doing it. We just want to make sure you can do it, period. And then we'll need a timer / stopwatch. Now, once we're 3, 2, 1, go, we're off and running. Now we're worried about, okay, how quickly can you perform this? So for today's focus, and this is again from the Institute of Clinical Excellence, Dustin Jones over there with ICE Institute of Clinical Excellence. They just released an article showcasing these new results, because what we have right now for the 5 repetition sit to stand is this. You have a scoring range that goes up to 80 to 85, and then that's it. And so you look at that and you're like, okay, 5 reps for someone between 80 and 85 years of age is, you're looking at 10.8 seconds. Or less is what we're trying to pursue. And when someone's over age of 90 or 86 and higher, what do we do? Like, what is our goal now? Are we just assuming based on these lower stats? Well, good news, new research has been done, and we now have these scores here for men, the 5x5 the 5 rep sit to stand range here, 90 to 91, 92, 94, 95 and up. You see your overall 15.7 seconds is kind of what we're shooting for there for the 90s and over. And then they have a modified test for this as well, where they're using their hands. They're pushing on their thighs, allowed to push and perform as well. And again, you can see the age and the times there. And for the ladies on the other side, your overall 16.5. So was that faster? Yep, tiny bit slower, about a second slower for the ladies here in that age bracket. And you can see the use of hands on the other one there. I personally don't have a lot of experience with the use of the hands one. We have not embraced that or utilized that in the past. So I can't say a ton about that one, but this does give us some new information, because we do have a lot of clients in their 90s or 86 and up where we didn't have a criteria for them to be able to score this. So I wanted to take a little bit of time, showcase this, show the benefits, the value, what you're trying to get out of this. And then Vol just does such a good job with this article of showcasing everything around the sit to stand. If you coaches out there ever wanted to get to a point where you wanted to be able to produce some type of functional sit to stand that scores limb to limb, left foot to right foot dominance, etc., you can see asymmetry of about 13% right leg dominant when they drive off the floor. That's pretty cool. And then their total, I believe this is newtons, 639 newtons of force being applied as they go. Maybe from the previous test, we have a 16.9% increase based on whoever this was being assessed. And again, these are cool tools. They are expensive. You basically kind of long-term rent them, lease them. And I think there is eventually an option to buy, so you could have your force plates, and they've got a grip strength dynamometer, like all kinds of cool stuff. They've got great toys. Again, I have no financial connection to them whatsoever, but they do make really, really good products. And the amount of scoring that you can give back to your people, like this could be one heck of an assessment that you go through just on the sit to stand, let alone the rest of the assessment. You can see the full 30-second sit to stand here and the scoring ages and brackets. I love that little chart there. Shows if you're a high fall risk, low fall risk, ladies and gentlemen across. This is a great article. They provide pretty much everything that you need on here. And again, of course, they are showcasing their force plates, but they're in the business of this. They've got some videos that kind of show how their product works, etc. Again, good company, good folks over there, and encourage you to go take a look, see, and check that out if of interest. If not, you are now armed with some good information on how to train the 90, 86 plus year olds with this 5-second sit to stand score, with or without hands, but preferably without. And you now know some numbers that you're going to try to use as your barometer biomarker, if you will, of if they are a fall risk or not, and if they are being, dynamically challenged enough in their programming, or making benefits from one training cycle 12 weeks later to the next. If we're not seeing some kind of fairly significant improvement, we should probably change things a little bit. Now, I mean that in the first assessment cycle. Let me wrap on that real quick before we call it a day. If you perform a sit to stand with a sit to stand test, 30-second or the 5-second, either one, or 5 rep max for time, please. Jeez, the 30-second for rep max or the 5-second for time. If you do either of those, brand new client just came in, trained for 12 weeks, test them again, you should see significant, at least 2.5% increase, if not more. Okay, significant increase or change in their output, like how well they do. If you don't, at least a 2.5% increase, something's wrong with your programming. 3 months of training, and they're consistent, and they're giving you good efforts. For deconditioned, untrained individuals, you should see drastic change. I'm talking 10, 20%. Like, you might see drastic changes in that individual. The next time you do this, so 12 weeks later, or now 6 months into training, you might see some good improvements, 2.5%, 5%, something like that, but less than the first one. And then 9 months later, right? So 12, 24, 36 months into this, you'll still see a slight improvement, 2.5%, 2%, something like that. And then by a year of training, typically we're pretty solid. Like you're pretty consistent. You're pretty good overall. We're at a high level. Now we're just going to try to maintain that. Because what I don't expect is a 2.5% or greater increase every single time. Like that's just not realistic. At some point we get fit and capable enough, and then we're like, let's maintain this, because the drastic normal aging curve, it's just always going down. So if we're able to bring that up and then maintain as we go across, that's a huge win. That's a huge win. And especially with something as simple as this, sit down, stand up as quickly as you can, get as many reps, or just do it as quick as you can for 5 reps. Like that's a very simple assessment, but it gives us a lot to think about and a lot to design our programming around. All right, team, comments, questions, you let me know. If not, I hope you enjoyed this. Feel free to please like and click the link, share, save this video, send it to anybody that you might feel would benefit from it. Help us grow our community. We'd really appreciate that. And until next time, feel free to throw comments down below too. I'll answer. And as always, please continue to fight your good fight against sarcopenia. We'll see you next time. Take care.